Hey guys, I am back, glad to be back, and we are working on something new. And it's called Groenland. It is a survival game. And we have a good bit of work done on it. And we are moving forward with this project with the intent of getting it on Kickstarter and taking a look at that. So today, up till now, it was going to be a story game, but after intense negotiations, the game more suits a survival long dark type game. So my team member and myself are working on this together, and today I'm going to work on some of the HUD which I have been developing. This is day one. Sip of coffee there. And we are going to look at a temperature gauge. So I have been working on the temperature gauge, and we are going to set this to image thermometer, and I think what we're going to do here is we are going to add a text box to our canvas panel. We are probably going to change the text on it, and we'll say let's say we'll say -5, right? And our font, we're going to go 18 on that. We're going to size to content. Then we're going to anchor it. Now, I was hoping that this would be big enough, but I'm kind of afraid it's not going to be. We can check it though. And that's not really what we wanted. However, we can say 1.1. Then of course that's going to be 0.5. Then we can select a nice color. We can OK that. Okay, now our next job is in our attributes. We are not going to create that. We're going to say W underscore temperature. Okay. And we can now take a look at this on how it looks in the game. So we can see that this is way too small, right? But we can work with that. And I think the temperature is going to have to be a separate widget with just the temperature in it. Right. And that's actually that text box. We're going to delete that. That's the wrong thing for the moment. This is what's going to return our temperature in the game. So we can leave that for now. But in our temperature, we are actually going to remove that. And save it. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a custom event and we're going to have to rename this. We're going to call it update temperature. Okay. And we're also going to have to do this on the actual temperature controller thing. Anyway, we are going to get back to here. We're going to cut that. We're going to come back to here and we're going to paste it again. And actually what we'll do is we'll do ref char, and at the moment that's going to be demo character. Okay. And on event construct, well, actually we're going to drag that and we're going to do that, then this, we're going to do that, then we're going to set that. Okay. And then with this, we're going to tidy it up. And we're going to normalize this value somehow. And we're going to get that. And we're going to say set progress okay. And the next thing we're going to do I am going to message my teammate to find out what the min and the max of the temperature is. So that I can normalize it and then set it as a percentage in the progress bar. Right? So what we're going to do now is set timer by function name, and we really only need to do this every 5 seconds ish. I don't need to do it a crazy amount. We can test it though. So we can say 0% and then we can run it again and we can say so it's at 0.5 and there it goes to 0. Okay, and we can set it to 1 and test it, and I'm beginning to think that this might be better not in red but in like a cool blue. So we can try that. As you can see, that works nicely. And what you're going to do is put the temperature down here. Okay, now the other ones are going to have radial bars around them. So we're going to have to work on that. But in theory, that should work. Now, what I'm going to do is go to this here. And we're probably not going to do that. We're probably going to pull off this air temperature. And then we're going to normalize to range. And let's say minus 40 and 20. Then we're going to do that. And then we're going to append. No, we're not. We're not going to append at all. Aye, Legend Sprite, how you doing, bud? And we don't actually need that. So what we can do is put that in here. We're working. Yes, we have been tempted by a friend to work on a promising project which we are going to try and get on Kickstarter once we have developed it just a little bit further to show the in-game aspects of it. So we've had a little bit of a break. We have got this project up and running, which in a team environment for Unreal Engine is a little bit complicated, but we've done it. We have some basic stuff working, and I'm just working on the HUD. So it's going well, and how's it going for you? So in the meantime, what I can do here, since I'm not actually doing anything with that, is I can let you see not the whole thing, but the general idea. If I can find the maps, that is. I'm just taking a little bit of time to get used to the project, because a lot of it is assets. So I'm gradually feeling my way around and getting there. So this is what you'll see in the game. And you can see it is set in the Viking times. It's got lots of snowy effects and sequences and all sorts going on here. And I should really turn the sound on for you guys. Hang on a second. Trying not to get double take on the sound here. As you can see, you can do all that. Now, what I really need to do is get rid of a certain thing or two here that I don't need. I was testing it last night to see what assets were conflicting with each other. So we did that. And basically oh yeah, it was not in here, it was in the actual character. Right, so if I go back to here, we need to look at all of this kind of stuff. Then we pull that out. Now I've added these in where as if the character isn't moving, then it doesn't do anything, rather than consistently trying to add to the movement input when it's 0, when it shouldn't be moving. So that's just needs tidied up a little bit, nothing disastrous. But yeah, we should, excuse me a second guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Phone call and all that. But here we go anyway. Right. So you'll notice now that I've removed our thing. And what I'm going to do to prove that our gauge is working, right, is I'm basically going to flip-flop this, right, and just set it to 0. So we're going to do a flip-flop, flip, we're going to do a flip-flop, and we're going to duplicate that. Right, we're going to, this is temporary, but we'll put that in there just to prove it's working. Right, and once we know what the temperature max min is, and we can find a test area where the temperature is different, then we can incorporate it and test it in that environment. But in the meantime, we can test it with this. So if we press play, so you'll notice our temperature gauge has went down to 0, and then it's went back up to full. Then it will go back to 0, and then it will go back to full. Now that's showing that that is working perfectly well. Okay. So we fundamentally have our outside temperature. Okay. Now, what I'm going to have to do here is go back to our widgets, and I'm going to create another widget, and it's going to be W underscore temperature text. Okay, and this is just going to be a text, so we are basically going to delete that. We are going to add text, right, and it's going to be txt temperature, okay, we're going to make it that blue for a laugh. Then we're going to set it to 18. Then as a test, we're going to say -5. We're going to save that. Okay. And the next thing we shall do is in our attributes right, what we're going to do is we're going to drag these down. Right, now these are going to change maybe. Actually, probably not. Right, so in here, we're going to create. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to create widget. And we're going to say temperature text. We're going to duplicate this because we are going to add it to the grid. But we're going to add it at row 2, column 0. Okay. And now when we press play, we should get our little temperature gauge, and then underneath we should get a reading. Unfortunately not. Okay. That's because I didn't actually connect it. So, a bit of a goofball there, but we'll get back to it. Save that. Rerun it. And there we go. So, the next thing we need to do is go to our temperature, center it, save that, we graph it, we delete that, and we delete that. Then we do our custom event here, and we say update temperature. Then we basically have to do the same thing as we did here, right? Except we copy this, in fact the first thing we'll do here is copy that. Actually, we'll copy all of that. We'll add a variable and we'll call it ref char, and that is going to be demo character. We shall save that, Then we shall paste that. Save that, go back here. We shall grab that. Come back in here. Paste that. Right, and then we shall grab our text temperature. Then set text. Okay. And what we're going to do here is we're going to append that with a C. And then that is going to go into the text here. Now this is going to get our actual air temperature according to the weather. So the next thing we need to do is set timer by function name. And once more, we don't need it to run very often, so we'll set it to run every 5 seconds. We'll save that. Run that. Okay, so it's at -5. And now it's at 0.33, and that is because it has been normalized. Because we don't want to normalize it in this case, all we want to do is get the actual text value. Okay. So what we can do in this case is update temperature. So we can run this so it sets it up when we first come in, when the widget is first created, and then it's going to update every 5 seconds after that. And that is the way we want it to operate. Okay. And as you can see, -20 degrees C. And we're going to take a quick screenshot of that. For it to be okayed. And it looks like I am an absolute idiot. Alright, give me 1 second. And And I've managed to actually delete that screenshot as well, like a complete moron. So we shall try that again. Right. So we've got that, and we probably want to do the same thing here regarding a quick update. A quick update on the temperature. So we're going to do that. And I'm just waiting on an answer regarding the temperature min-max. So I'm going to put that back and say that we are done once we get this value, or the two values, the min-max, and that's going to tell us exactly what the temperatures need to be. We'll drag that off a bit, and I'm going to take the space out of here to see how that looks, if it's better. It should be better. Yep. I'm liking that. Okay, so our next point of call is to do with our other components here. Well, sorry, the other components of our HUD. Right, so we've got hunger, we have energy, and we have dehydration or water. Now what we're going to do with them is we're going to have them on a radial bar, which will basically fill up. Okay. And the way I am going to do that is, in the first instance, I'm going to do a save all. And I'm going to have to open I believe I'm going to have to open Fabrica Espace. To get the radial dial and its associated things. Okay, so I guess we're going to do that then. Hi there, Cybershell Rev. How you doing, bud? Yeah, it looks... While we're letting this load up, I'll press play so that we can have a look. I don't know what the frame rate's going to be like here, but we'll try it anyway. We are kind of a little rough around the edges, but we're going to get there. It started off as a story game, but it's now going to be a survival game, kind of in the vein of the Long Dark, that type of thing, but in a Viking setting with Viking people and Viking things. Working on our game, yeah. It helps to have a little break every now and again, a little palate cleanser, shall we say. I might have to turn the mic off in a second, but I can turn it off just now. Okay, mic's back on. I'm waiting on them. Right, so what we can do is I need to find the radial stuff, which is, I believe, in the HUD actually. Or possibly it's not. Right, let's have a look. Is it in materials? I don't think so. Where would I put this? Under UI possibly. Hotbar. Inventory per rocket stat storage. Interesting. It's in you know where it is? It is in research, I believe. No, it's actually in crafting. which is part of inventory. So let me have a look at this material. Yeah, this is the material we need. And we pass in my texture, which is a parameter. Actually, we might not need this. Yeah, this is a slightly different way of doing it. Okay, I might need to take a look into this, because this is a slightly different way of doing it. Give me 1 second, guys. Right, we might actually only need a certain part of this. What I could do is basically copy this, right? And if I copy that, then I go back to here, actually here, right? And I create a material. And we say mat underscore radial. That's radial. We're going to be saying radial value, I would say. Okay, so if I now do this, then I paste that stuff, then we get our material, and it's going to be translucent. Then we get our, this isn't going to be, we don't need a texture here. All we actually need is a vector. That's if I can manage to spell properly. Right, so it's going to be a constant 3 vector. And then we're just going to, let's say it's going to be, will we go for a blue again? I suppose in the short term we could. Right. I hate when it does this, but anyway. could always just go white to start, right, and then ramp up the blue. Right. So all we need to do is pass in a percentage from each of our different values and then apply this material in the background, and then we're good to go. So basically I can close down Fabricate Space, and we have our radial ready to go, basically. And on that, I'm going to go and grab a cigarette, guys. So you guys talk amongst yourselves. I shall be back in a moment or two, and we shall carry on. Be right back, guys. Okay guys, we're back. Hello there to Lawson Laird. We're working on, well, this particular thing, we are working on a material for basically a radial design for, I'll show you. Right, so we have our temperature thing, and we have food, energy, water. Okay, these are temporary, but we can change the images, etc., etc. This works off the weather system. So at the moment it is actually minus 20 degrees here, and this will change depending on the weather, or if we get next to a fire or whatever. And for our food, our energy and water, we're going to wrap it in a radial, like circly thing, progress bar, so that you can see what kind of percentage you have regarding your three other attributes. So that is what we are doing at the moment. So our first thing we need to do is minimize this. Then let's say we go with hunger. Now we are going to have to do a bit of jiggly pokery and some backup stuff. This isn't going to be hunger, obviously, or it isn't going to be that image, right? And we're going to delete that, and we're going to change this to the correct thing, which is going to be, if I look in here, we're going to go to hunger, and then if we go to the graph, we can see it's food 27, right? So we can basically do that, then go back to our hunger and change this to the image, then basically swap that out to there. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this with a border, and then in the border, oh, now this is interesting. The border is going to need an image, and it's actually going to be the material. Now, this is a good question. So what I'm going to do is we're actually going to change this to UI. Right? And then our border is going to be our radial thing. Okay. I'm going to stop that for now, save it. And we're going to have to give it a value just so we can test it. So in our material we are actually set to 0.5 anyway, so that's cool. And we are going to have to set a dynamic material, but we'll worry about that in a second. We'll see what we've got in the end. Right, so if I press play here, what's that going to give us? Absolutely nothing. So that's awesome. To be fair, I don't think this is anything anyway. Now, you know what we could do? We could say or let's try something. Ooh, that's not what we want. Now, what we're going to have to do in this case, which I forgot about. Oh, this is going to work anyway. I'm an idiot. Right, because what we actually need to do is change this to create the hunger. Hunger widget. Right. So that's why that wouldn't work. It's kind of still not going to work. Right, because that's going to overwrite everything. Right, but if we take this and do that, interesting. Okay. I'm feeling you. Right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to go to widget hunger and make this invisible. And we need to go to our border. And that's fine. So I'm guessing this is going to show nothing now. Yep. So basically, whatever we've done, this material here is giving us nothing. Right? So this is going to be parameter, right? So if I just use that parameter and set it to 1, right? We should get a solid block, yeah. So whatever it is we're doing here, it's bringing back 0. this doesn't seem right. So I'm kind of thinking that that goes in there. That goes in there. That seems a bit more reasonable. And now we're getting half, but it's not radial. Right, so let's do that and do that, and our texture sample is that, and we might need to pull the alpha off of this to do it. So we stop that and we pull the alpha off of this. Really should have Fabrica Space open again to check this out. You'll notice that we're not getting the radial we're getting sort of half of it, right, which is not kind of what we want in this instance, right, and I'm not in the mood for flapping about with this too much at the moment. Right, you'll see there, I mean, you could use this type of thing as just wondering if this should be radial coordinates. I don't want to flap about it too much though. Let's see what that does. Apparently not a lot. Yeah, it kind of didn't really do much of a difference. So we'll put it back. Right, let's have a look at Fabrica Space and see what's actually going on. Right. Is this going to open up for us? It's still going. 94. Should be ready soon. Right. So yeah, that's and we do the RGBA. From that, that's all cool. Right, so that should be easily sorted out. That's blooming weird. Alright. So that says colour. That's the wrong one. Right. Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, and that's what it does there. Right, so that's actually doing what it should be doing. But that is actually the wrong thing. Right. Okay. So we have craft item. And it must be in the list item, yeah. Right, okay. So if we look at our graph here, right, we need our event graph. No, it's an asset. It's oceanology. Okay. So one would have to assume that this image, which is that, is basically getting a it's getting a material applied to it. Oh yeah, I've missed those bots. Right, and we're setting this. Right, so that's item image. It is a Viking survival game. That is my best description of it, to be fair. But thanks for the question, Deadshot. I appreciate it. Right. I think what I'm going to do is, because all of the three things I'm going to be working on all have this particular thing, right? I am basically gonna check on, we probably don't want a percentage of the image to be shown. What we want is the full image to be shown so that you can see it. I'll show you what I mean, right? But we want a radial indicator around it to show what percentage you have of that image, right? So this obviously ain't doing it right now, even though it actually should, kinda. This should actually be showing this image here. Right, unless it's because it's black and white. Okay, and because it doesn't have any colour, then everything is being blanked out, or not blanked out, as the case may be. Because probably if I multiplied this by another colour, it would probably be okay, because basically we're using a colour. Right? But from that point of view, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the other widgets, or I'm going to update the other widgets. Right? So if we go to widgets, we've done the hunger one. Right, so we can do the water one, and then basically I can check on this. Right, so if we look at the water one, it's actually going to be in here. Right, so we can do that. And then we can delete the progress bar. We can update the name of these at some point, but for the moment we'll just leave them as is. Right, and we're going to wrap this in a border. And what we can do is basically wrap it in a border, right? Wait a minute. Have I been completely stupid here or something? Oh, here we go again. For some reason. The bots are out in force today for the first time back in a week. Right, so basically we've got the water. Oh, I changed that to, right, the border should be that as well. Right, the border's probably not going to be that, it's going to be the material, but we'll leave it as is for just now. I shall look into that offline, and we shall sort it all out, and it'll all be good by the time I stream again, and you shall see it all as it should be, or at least as I think it should be. Right, so that was water, and finally it's basically energy. And again, we need to do basically the same thing. Right, so that progress bar is going to go. The image, we're going to change the name of it, but for the moment, we're going to have a look at this again. Then we're going to do that. Go to energy, get our image, and that is going to go in there. Okay, and then we're going to get our image and we're going to wrap it in a border. And our border is going to have the same image, except we are obviously going to change it. Okay, so that's all of our 4 widgets done now. Right, so next we need to go back to our attributes. So we've got temperature, hunger, and this is going to be water. Refresh, and this one is going to be energy, and refresh, and that's now picking out our 4 different widgets, but they're all within a retainer box because we're not going to draw them every single frame, because we really don't need to. So there you go. We need to minimize that a bit, but we can do that. Right, and that was wasn't the water, it was the energy. It's already open, but it's at 64 by 64. Save that, and while we're at it, I'll click on the wrong thing, and let's just get these named properly. Right, so that's image, water, and that's going to be image, hunger, and in the meantime, so it doesn't look like crap, we'll get this image and we'll pop it in this border so it all looks good again. Right. There we go. we need the temperature one. And from what I am told, the temperature goes from -50 to 20. Right, so all we need to do is that, and we are good to go. So our temperature gauge should be closer to the bottom, a little bit. Actually, no, it should be kinda, yeah, should be more like that. Right. So that's cool. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close everything out so we've not got 1,000,001 things open, and anything we need we shall redo it. And actually, let's just fix this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this project, and this definitely has a radial progression. The radial progression of a circle. So from that point of view, we should be able to copy the code across rather than muck about with it. And while that's loading, I'm going to add attributes, and then we are going to copy these right, we'll just do it one by one as we need them. Always a good idea to keep things tidy. Right, so the main HUD ain't going to go in there. We only have the attributes on the main HUD at the moment, but we might move them, or we might add more to the main HUD. And finally, we can add this and this. Now, okay, whatever. We'll leave that as is for now. Now, we do have trying to see where we are. And this is exactly what we want. Right? So we have the ring texture. So assets, migrate, and that's fine. We can OK that, and need to put it in the right place, of course. Well, did I need to learn it too? Because I don't know much about it yet. I'm just learning as I go here, how this all works. I'm not 100% sure how it works yet, but I'm sure we'll work it out. Well, actually, I do know how it kind of works, but it's whether or not it actually works. I suppose we could check it. At least we could check it from the point of view of, can we get to fire? Right, we're going to have to go through this cut screen. We're going to have to actually add in being able to skip cutscenes. Well, that shouldn't be too much of a problem, I don't think. Or not. Give me 1 second. Yeah, you should be able to hear that. Now the problem is whether or not I can actually start fire, because I did make changes to the player controller because it was previously parented to another controller that wasn't exactly what we wanted. So some of the interactive buttons and stuff might not work anymore. But I'm hoping that there's something there that allows me to check the temperature. Inside is enough to change the temperature. Apparently it's colder. Oh, and the guy that's doing some of the stuff in the level building and changing the weather and stuff, well, I'll tell you something, it did change the temperature. It's -50, which isn't exactly what we want because we are basically inside now, right? But it does show me that it does work, right? So when we come back outside, walk about again, has the temperature changed? Start a forge? No, one other person. know there are some fires about here, or braziers that you can do something with. Apparently not though. Oh well, we did do something there, and the temperature is changing. Right, so we're at 20 degrees, which is right. If we go out of, yeah, we're losing temperature very quick. Yeah, right, this is something that I kind of thought about. And the point was that the temperature outside isn't really your temperature, right? It's more like you gradually right, what I mean is this, right? If I walk away, right, and I'm outside again, I start losing temperature and by an awful lot really quickly, right? Whereas your body temperature ain't gonna react quite as quick as that, okay? But at least it does show me right? Now, I don't know if I step out a little bit away if we're going to start losing temperature or not. I wonder if this is going to take us, yeah, it's going to take us all the way to minus 50 again, right? Even though you're still a little bit within range of the... Right, so that's going to need a little bit of work, I think. But it does give us some ideas on how to, or it gives me some ideas on how I can manipulate this. Right, now if I stop that, now, yeah, I'm going to have to confer again with my teammate on this one. I originally thought you would have like a body temperature and an outside temperature, right? Because obviously, if it's minus 50 outside, right, it's obviously your body isn't minus 50, right? That doesn't make any sense because you'd be dead, right? So it's kind of a weird one, but we can look at it. So, point of order is, if we go to materials, this is our new materials, and if we look at the ring, okay, and there's our percentage, and it's set at 0.25 at the moment, which is fine. So what we need to do here is we need to go to our widgets again and try this out. So we go to attributes and we shall go to hunger. We shall go to our border, and this is going to be ring instance. Okay. Then we can work on one of these and then decide what we like and what we don't. As you can see, we have 25% and we are not showing our image hunger. So I am guessing we don't have that, we have that instead, and then we basically put padding in between the two. And now we have nothing, which is kinda awesome. We have the border -1 and the Z order at that, so that's okay. Now the question now is which one is disrupting the other. So we'll set that to hidden and test it. And now we've got nothing there. Did I hide that? Yeah, I've hid that as well. Right, that was a bit daft. So we'll go to them both and we'll make them both visible. And this should size to content, but for some reason this image isn't quite right. Save that, and this looks more like it, of course. Yep. But obviously we need a padding on this. And no padding on that. Oh, that's the padding on that. Right, but we don't have padding on our border. So let's change that to 20. It looks to me like we need even more. The question is this going to screw things up and make this too big? Maybe I don't think so. This may be actually pretty good. Okay, right, so what we'll do is we shall rename this to border, and this one is hunger. Right, so we have a padding of 25 on this, so we can save that. Right, next one we're going to do is this one. That's going to be 25, and then the border, in fact we shouldn't really have it as that, and this is water, and then this is going to be ring inst. Save that, and then we do energy. We do BRD energy, and that is going to be ring instance, and we're going to have 25 padding. Save that, and then now if we run it, we're going to have to do the same for this one. Right, even though it's not actually going to use a border. Right. So we're going to go temperature text. Sorry, temperature. Right. Oh, that's interesting. We're going to have to wrap this with a border. And that border content is going to be 25. And this is going to be 0. Okay, try that. This should look decent. Yep, that's much better now. I'm definitely liking that. And I think we're going to call it there. So if you enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe, it's very much appreciated. Check the description for my Patreon, and we will soon be on Kickstarter with Groenland, a Viking survival game. Thanks for watching. Bye bye for now.